Did you inherit $1 million from your grandparent, or are you about to become wealthy from someone else's hard work? If you say yes to these questions, this show is not for you. You, the hardworking, committed, and ambitious professional who have a 9-to-5 corporate job or a 12-hour shift worker keeping the assembly line running. Perhaps you run your gig as a freelancer, or maybe you run a small business. You are in the right place. Welcome to the Career Evangelist Podcast, where you get your weekly tips, ideas, strategies, and inspiration to find purpose in what you do so you can build a career you are passionate about and live a fulfilled life. Here is your host, Bola.
Hey, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Career Evangelist Podcast. I'm excited, I'm thrilled to welcome our new guest. She's a global leader in business transformation. I'm talking about Katerina Friel. She has more than 25 years of experience as a business mentor. Katerina has helped thousands of entrepreneurs and leaders elevate their confidence, sharpen their clarity, so that they can step boldly into their field of excellence. She's an award-winning author, a TEDx speaker, she's a creator, and she's a powerful Done For You. She has a powerful Done For You program, which is a 90-day pathway that helps entrepreneurs turn their ideas into thriving, future-proof business. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm excited to welcome Katerina to the show today. I'm excited to learn and hear more about what she does. Please join me in welcoming Katerina. Hey, Katerina, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Bola. I've never spoken to a Bola before, but I thought, what a beautiful name. So I looked it up, and I'm sure you know what it means, but your listeners might not know that it means honor, wealth, and prestige.
Oh,
and so
wow.
It is my great honor to be talking to my very first Bola.
Oh, this is exciting. And okay, you beat me to that. You did your own work. You checked out my name. I should have checked out your name as well. But I read about you. I looked to you on LinkedIn. I'm going to connect with you on LinkedIn. This is going to be an exciting conversation, Katerina. So let's start by telling my audience what you do. Well, let them get to know more about you and how they can benefit from you today.
Absolutely. So I've been around for 25 years doing this, and what I love is that I can help people in a very quick and easy way. So over the years, I've developed this sort of done for you model. It's one-on-one, because what I believe is a lot of coaching these days is done in groups, and you really don't get what you need done when you're not being handheld through the process, because for most people, business is a mystery, how it all works. So I've put it all together. I call it the Becoming the Expert program. And within 90 days, I've set up your whole ecosystem, including your book, your speech, your talk, your website, your brand, your signature program. And in 90 days, you're all ready to go to hit the market. So the rest of the 12-month program is spent doing it so that you're being looked after while you go out there and get your first few sales and do your first few speeches and, get on with it.
That's fantastic, Katerina. 90 days. So you are going to transform people in 90 days. Can you tell us more about it? What is included in this Done For You program? What should people expect to see?
So we start off with a 2-day kickoff. And the reason I do that is I want to go deep, and I want to go deep quickly. So the first day is really around the business plan and the strategy of what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. I give you a lot of business acumen. I show you, what will make money, what won't. And so that you can get a complete picture as to what I'm building and why I'm building it. So then the second day is a little bit different. It sort of changes gears a little bit. This is where we pull out your philosophy. We really pull out your philosophy. My belief is that you're already the expert. You simply haven't been positioned correctly, packaged correctly, and priced correctly. So on that second day, I pull out the wisdom from within you. Usually it's your story, it's what you've been through, it's your trauma, it's your passions, it's what you're interested in, it's your field of excellence is what I'm defining for you. And so once we've pulled that out, that philosophy, that really is now the book outline. And so from the book outline, you go off and create a first draft for me, just so that I can easily then, edit the book, proof the book, format the book, design the book, the whole book cover, the whole shebang. So that all gets done quite quickly within about a week or two of you getting the book back to me. And then from there, what we do is once you've gone number one bestseller, at that time, people are going to check you out. So I've created the brand at that point, and I've created the website at that point, as well as the social media platforms are up and live. Because people are busybodies, they're going to go, oh, I'm happy to support you during your book launch, but they go and check you out online. So you've got to be ready to go at that point. Because they're judging. They really are judging what, does it all fit? So anyway, that's all happening. It happened in the first phase. I call that the first phase. The second phase is where we then say, great, so the worst is over, the heavy lifting's all been done. Now what we need to do is we need to turn that book into a keynote speech. This is something where you can go out and educate your market. Because if you don't go out and educate your market, quite frankly, nobody cares.
Yeah.
So you go out and educate your market with your talk. There's a whole business model around how to do that, both live and as well as online through podcasts and stuff. So that's good. So that's sort of phase two, where we start to get you to practice your talk, and I give you lots of feedback and we work on it until you feel pretty comfortable. And then by the time you go out there, you've had a bit of experience working with me on your talk and its delivery. Phase three is then saying, all right, there's no money in books. We know that. If you earn $5,000 off your book in a year, you're in the top 1% of authors. So that just puts that in perspective. With the talks, there's two ways to look at talks, and that is, one is paid and one is non-paid. Now, when I explained that strategy, the paid ones, you can get anything from $5,000 to $10,000 and, right up to sort of $25,000 per speech. We all know that. It's a very competitive market, and quite frankly, you're just starting out, so nobody cares. So what we do is we really focus on free speaking, free promotional events, because you can pull, if you got 20 people in a room and you were doing your talk and you took away 40% of that as a lead who showed interest in your material and that were connected to you and your message, that can turn into $100,000.
Yeah.
So free promotional events should not be poo-pooed. It's essential. It's amazing. It's where the money is. And so that's where you then sell in. From there, you sell in your signature program. So that's the final stage of the program, is really putting together your signature program. Now, this is where the money is. The money is in selling a $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, program. That can be a training program, that can be a coaching program. But I recommend that you actually work with people one-on-one and do that a lot before you start getting so busy that you have to do group.
So I think I get the three different phases. You are starting with book launch. Then from there, you help entrepreneurs to start giving speeches, whether paid or unpaid. But ultimately, you want to get them to where they can start selling their signature program, maybe in terms of coaching. But I'm just curious, why do you start from book launch? Why is that important in your process?
Um, Gosh, that is like the best question you could have asked. It really shows a really sort of a deep curiosity there, because nobody ever asked me why is it in that order. And in fact, it is fundamentally so important why we start with that. What most people do is they start a business and they go and create an online program for $100 or something. And, they just get on with that. And others go out and start talking and just randomly talk about whatever. What we're doing is doing the rigor of discovering your message, your languaging, your philosophy. And so the book does position you as the expert. So tick, excellent, that's what the book does. But more importantly, it adds a layer of confidence to you, because when you're first starting out and you're becoming the expert, you don't know who you are or what you're about. You have a general, you have a general interest and passion in whatever, but you haven't done the rigor. When you've done your book, you've done the rigor of really thinking about, who am I? What do I stand for? What don't I stand for? And what is my message? What is my philosophy? You've got to work that out first before you go talking and before you go selling some sort of program. To me, it's ass up when they do that. But that's why we do the book first. And it's the hardest bit. The rest is actually quite easy, because once you've got the book, it rolls out and I'm able to create that for you quite quickly. But if we do it the other way around, it's like, who am I? What am I doing? Oh, I could talk about this. I could talk about that. No, you've got the book. Here is the order in which I want to teach. They need to know this first. Then they need to know that first, second, then this third. Can you see? You've worked out the order, the flow, and the subjects and the topics and the whatnots in your non-fiction.
So that is
Yeah.
good. That is like the foundation. So it's like building blocks. So I like that. Now you talked about field of excellence. How can I find my field of excellence? How do you tell people to identify? Because we all have these. Some people call it superpower, or maybe expertise. How can we know for sure our field of excellence?
For some reason, it's actually my genius zone. So
Yeah, I love
people
that.
come to me. I like to start with a free discovery session. So we sit down there, and within 15 minutes, I've sort of listened to their story. And within that first 15 minutes, I usually can identify very intuitively, very magically, exactly what their field of excellence should be, in my view. Now, when that happens, I call that the magical moment, the aha moment. Their body should light up with goosebumps.
Mhm.
It should lock and it should load. It's a very exciting moment, because they've spent their whole life wondering, what's my life purpose? What's my soul purpose? And just by me listening for that first 15 minutes to all the breadcrumbs of their life, I can go, boom, that's your specialty. That's your expertise. That's where your authority should lie. And then the book writes itself.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Now, I love hearing about success story. I know you have definitely some students that have passed through this 90-day Done For You program. Can you share maybe one story with us of someone that you helped to coach, that they went from this book launch, the first two giving speech, and of course, launching their signature program?
Yeah, I love this particular story. This example is wonderful, because this is my ideal experience. And I was speaking as usual at a free promotional event, and this woman came up to me afterwards and just said, wow, like, I want to fill in the form. I want to have a free discovery session. And I said, great. We lined up the free discovery session. We went and had a meeting face to face. Normally it's not 4 hours, but in our case, it was a 4 hour lunch. We had a great time. And of course, within that time, using my genius zone, I was able to show her exactly what she could create, which was way bigger than what she was thinking.
Mm.
Um, and so what we did is we created the institute for her industry. So she became what I consider to be an industry body. And from there, we certified her people through the program. And within 3 years, she'd done $1 million in revenue.
Oh, wow.
And that to me is getting somewhere. And so 8 years later, we're still friends. She's sort of wrapping that business up now, and found a CEO to run it and own it and selling her business. And then she's starting on her next chapter, and we're in the process right now. She's writing her next book, and this will be her fifth book, I think.
That's fantastic, Katarina, and I'll say great job there. So now, majority of my listeners, they are working professionals. I have some small business owners as well. Uh, for a working professional,
Yeah.
how can they benefit from this Done For You program, especially if they are looking for multiple streams of income, right? So,
Of course. So there's 7 streams of income within every individual, in my view. And even if you are in a job, a job, to me, you are still and should be seeing yourself as a thought leader within your field of excellence. And
Mhm.
so there's a personal brand for everybody, whether you're an executive or not. Now, what happens is, once you start to get out there and you're living the lifestyle of an author, speaker, trainer, coach, mentor, facilitator, and consultant, they're the 7 streams of income. Once you start living that a little bit, it's addictive because 75% of people are unhappy in their role, and most people are dreaming of getting out. It's just that most people don't know about how to create a business, and that's why business mentors like me exist, because we help them make that transition from job to entrepreneur. And most people dream of it, but they're very scared of failure, very scared of losing their house. And I just don't do it that way. So what I will do with somebody like that is run a dual strategy. So they stay in the job. We build this in the background. You start living the life. You've got annual leave you can use. You can got leave without pay, and you're selling yourself for $4,500 a day. How many days in a year do you need to work that for it to make a significant difference to your life and your family?
Yeah.
Not much. 20 days,
Yeah.
30 days, like not a lot. So then when that starts to go off, you can start to think about, well, what am I doing over here? And could I knock it back to 4 days a week? Could I knock it back now to 3 days a week? And slowly start to think about your exit. But the beauty of running this system, this dual strategy, is that you're actually happier in the now, because you've got a goal, you've got a dream that's being actioned. So it's amazing how you can go from demotivated in your job to being actually quite excited that your job is funding this amazing thing in the background while we get it all sorted out.
Yeah. So I like that dual strategy. I think that's a smart move. You mentioned demotivated people that are holding on to their job, as you put it. So, career evangelist, I love to motivate people. So I want you to motivate my listeners today. Tell them if they are sitting on the sideline, if they are unhappy with their job, tell them that there is an alternative. Tell them that they can do it because there are other people out there doing it. So the floor is yours, Katarina.
Thank you for the opportunity. I think it's so sad that we live our life in unhappiness for very long. When I'm working with people from a career development point of view, and they are in their jobs, to me, it's crazy to think that we don't get miserable overnight. We actually get bored first. And so I like to take action at the boredom level, just when you're sort of going, ah, is this all there is? Like, is this it? How boring is this? Like, I've worked it out. I'm a master of my game. I'm doing it. But, I'm not getting promoted. Where's the new project? Where's the new task? They just want me to rinse and repeat for the rest of my life. This is horrendous. No way. And when you're getting a little bit bored, a little bit demotivated, it's harder to get out of bed. And so the harder it is to get out of the bed, that's when you start to take notice, not years later when you're miserable, you're toxic, you're a really bad influence of energy around the office or around your workplace. Yeah. So to me, it's really sad to see bitter people in the workplace. And the only reason they're bitter is because they never did anything about it back when the first inkling started. And that is boredom usually. And so what I want to say to people is get in there early and start thinking, oh my God, I'm bored now. Now what? What's the next step for me? Don't just sit there in a job. Don't just stay where you are. If I had done that, over 35 years ago, and just stayed there, I never would be doing what I'm doing. So every time I felt bored, I would make a change. At the very least, you start planning. You look around. You put your head up and you look around and you start to research things. And now with the internet, far out, the world is your oyster and at your fingertips. So there's no excuse not to have a quick chat to ChatGPT even these days and say, hey, ChatGPT, what do you reckon my next step would be?
I love
it'll give it to you. Yeah.
Definitely. That's so good.
Don't sit in misery. Don't sit in misery. Life is too short for that bullshit. No way.
Thank you, Katerina. I can see your passion in there. So now I think there are different mindset, different mentality to go from job to entrepreneurship. Do you want to tell us some skills that you've seen in successful entrepreneurs so that my listeners, they can go develop those skills when they make that transition?
Yeah, so you've probably all heard about the fixed mindset. The fixed mindset is where you don't want to be. You want to sort of start to switch over to the growth mindset as a first option. So everybody should Google growth mindset and start to do a little bit of research there and just see the difference between your fixed mindset and your growth mindset and notice the gap. Do a gap analysis on yourself. The second thing I like people to do is a SWOT analysis. So let's have a look at our strengths, our weaknesses / challenges, and what are our opportunities to learn and grow, and then what are the threats. And there's only one threat, only write one thing there, and that is technology. If you don't stay up to date with technology, you are stuffed. You really are. So have a healthy respect for technology, and you don't need to know it all like a computer programmer. What you need to know is how to operate things like LinkedIn and be able to use ChatGPT and, just be across some of the basics so that you can operate in this world. Now, once we go to growth mindset, you'll start to feel like you want freedom. And that's where the entrepreneurship comes in. This is where you start to want to be in control of your own destiny. But when we're in a job, we are not in control of our own destiny. We have to wait for other people to believe in us. And if I waited around for people to invest in me, promote me, make me a priority, I would have died a long time ago. Yeah. I took control of my own destiny. I've got what I call, there's about 90% of people are lifelong learners. They will learn and grow reacting to the world around them and reacting to their life. I am an activated lifelong learner and always was. And that's the top 10% of the world's population. Activated lifelong learners are very proactive with their development. They go out there and they get the next thing. They stay up to date. They love technology. They're curious about life. You know, they're a certain type of person, and they are only 10% of the world. So if you want to be in the top 10% of the world, just be proactive with your development and boom, you're over there. You're switched on. You're ready to go. And Bola, clearly you are, because look at what you're doing. I always was one of those types. And the 90%ers roll their eyes at us.
Yeah.
They hate us. They're like, oh, look at them. They're always looking for the next shiny thing. They're always getting promoted. They're always going to the next job. They're always, changing things up. And I've been married for over 36 years, and my husband's watched me go from an 18-year-old young lady to a 56-year-old. And all the changes that I've controlled over those years is incredible. And, that's all I ask for people, is just to get into the activated lifelong learner vibe and start taking control. Don't sit around waiting for someone to discover you. Nobody cares. Nobody. The only one that cares about you is you, and the only one that cares about your career is you. That's it. Nobody else.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good.
Yeah. And just one other thing is to Google entrepreneurial spirit. So there's an entrepreneurial mindset. So Google that and have a look at how is that different from the growth mindset that you should have just as being a human. But there's the entrepreneurial mindset that you should have when you start to switch over. And what I discovered with that is that when I was working in jobs, I had an intrapreneurial mindset, meaning an entrepreneurial mindset inside an organization. So I already had it. I used to operate from that point of view. And of course, bosses hate that. Companies hate that. But what they see you as is a high-performing, self-managing person, and they are rare, and they're very difficult to manage because they've got options. They've got places to go.
Absolutely. So that's so good. I'm activated, I'm motivated, and thank you for sharing this with my audience. I'm sure people will find this highly, highly beneficial, motivational. So now, where can my audience, where can they find you so that they can connect with you and continue to learn from you?
Absolutely. That's a very good opportunity, Bola. Thank you. I'd love people to visit becomingtheexpert.com.au. Go there, book in for a free discovery session with me, and let me have a little look to see what's going on for you and what I might be able to give you clarity on. My objective is for you to walk away with absolute clarity on who you are as a thought leader, whether that's in a job for now or whether that's with wanting to be an entrepreneur down the track at some point. There's no rush, but at least let's get clarity on what is your field of excellence and what your thought leadership might look like so that we can turn it into a gold mine with 7 streams of income. How sexy would that be? Yay!
Yeah. So as we try to wrap it up, I've enjoyed this conversation, Katerina, but I always like to do this rapid fire question. Whereby we just go in rapid succession. So a quote that you live by that you want to share with us today.
Oh, feel the fear and do it anyway is my favorite ism.
I love that. I love that.
Yes, I live my life by that. Feel the fear and do it anyway. And I'll give you one other one, which I think keeps me from falling into fear. Whenever I think I'm not worthy or I get a lot of self-doubt about this or that, I always say to myself, if not you, then who? And if not now, then when? And so I'll leave it on that because that's a very powerful thought. If not you, then who?
That's so good. So, best advice you've ever received?
Wow. So a family friend back when I was a very young teenager, he was a very good businessman, did very well. And he turned to me and he said, whatever you're doing, even though now you are a barmaid and you are behind the bar pulling beers, be the best goddamn barmaid you can ever be. And he said, no matter what you're doing, just be the best that you can be. And so I've just lived by that ever since. So that really was quite powerful. And, teenagers, they never listen. But for some reason, I really listened to that. And you know what? I was the best goddamn barmaid you've ever seen. I loved it, and I did it for a very quite a number of years back in the day, and it taught me a lot of good things, a lot of transferable skills that I still use to this day. It made me very comfortable with all walks of life. It made me very comfortable having conversations with people. It gave me a lot of confidence because I had to face a lot of things behind the bar, as you can imagine,
Uh,
and I loved it. And so yeah, that was the best advice I was ever given.
oh, that's so good, Katarina. And I'll tell you this, you are one of the best guests that I've had in a while. No disrespect to my other guests. I love all of them, but I enjoy this conversation. And we have come to the end of the show today. I'll tell my listeners this. They should feel the fear and do it anyway, in the word of Katerina Frill. Thank you very much for coming on the show
Thank you for having me.
this episode. Thank you.
Thank you.